and we're going to see it run light through that muslin. There's also a light stand there. It's going to create a little funky shadow. We're going to play with it a little bit and see what we got. Ready? Let's see what we got here. All right. See, I don't know for sure what that's going to be. There you are. Yep. Oh, look at how cool that is. How cool is that? We need to throw it a little further out of focus, so don't we? Yep. I'm going to go down on my aperture setting. So I'm going to take this down. Wow, let's do it. Let's go all the way to f2 and see what happens. That will defocus that, whoa, that will defocus that background, and I'm going to move in a little closer, which will make it a little more out of focus. I'm going to tip it over a little bit. Oh, look how cool that is. I'm going to scooch it over to that side. Look at that. Remember, all TTL, right? And I can control how light or how dark that background is by using the dial on the top. Say I decide now that that background's too bright. I'm going to bring it back down. Watch. There we go. And I can shoot right in there. This is actually a tool that I use in creating real photographs for real clients. So, how are we going to trigger that wirelessly? This is a piece of cake. First thing we're going to do is connect the wire, right? That's a sync cable. Next thing is we're going to add the most basic of wireless triggering devices. And Dave, let me show you this one here. This is going to be your basic Pocket Wizard Plus 2. And a Pocket Wizard Plus 2 is just a wonderful, simple little device. I'm sure most of you are familiar with it. You're going to have on the bottom left there, you're going to have your channels. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Everything today is channel 1. To the right of that, you'll have a test button that you push, and it'll go ahead and fire what you want. Up on the top, you've got your local remote or both switch, and we'll come back to that in a second. And of course, on the side, you've got your power switch, or you have the ability to plug it into an AC adapter. Now, why do we say that this is the most basic of all? It's not because it's not very good. In fact, it's quite the opposite. Pocket Wizard is pretty terrific stuff, and me being Will Crockett, the guy who likes to beat up stuff a little bit, unfortunately, this is tough. So we can pack this up and hop on an airplane, and I know when I'm just going to hang this up on the side of a flash, and I'm going to plug it into the port that says flash on the top, and I'm going to turn it on. I don't have to worry about that anymore. But let me show you my process. Say I'm connecting this in the studio before my client gets here. You know that little test button that's on there? I love that. You know why? It allows me to test the progress to make sure that I'm, that I'm putting things together correctly. Now, when I turn this flash head on, I have power here, right? I have the ability to hit the test button on my Pocket Wizard and pop that flash. What do I know? Now I know that the Pocket Wizard is connected to the cable, and the cable is connected to the flash. So do I have to worry about that cable right now? Nope, I'm good to go. So when I want to measure flash from this light, all I have to do is press the button. This is a whole wireless system. Well, you're thinking, Will, why is this so important? Oh, it makes life so much easier. Ready? Let me show you how we put together a basic shot. Right? I'm going to bring in my favorite model, Isabella. My darling, would you come on in and let me get a nice picture of you? I'm going to take just your basic strip light, nothing fancy. I've got my Pro Photo pack that's already addressed to channel 1. I'm going to put it right there. I'm going to move this light out of the way because we're not going to use this light at all. I'm just going to take this strip light and I'm going to move it right like that. I'm going to tip it over horizontally. You're thinking, wow, Will, what the heck are you doing with a strip light like that? I go, yeah, hang on. You wouldn't believe the crazy things that I do with light, right? Now, we don't know what that exposure is. We don't know when this pack fires how much light is actually going on our subject, do we? We're going to find out with a meter. Now, I'm going to sneak right behind my subject, and I'm going to imagine where my camera is going to be when I take the picture. And my camera is going to be straight over there. So I'm going to take my meter and I'm going to put it under my subject's chin, boom, throw it right back to where the camera is, and I'm going to share with you what my meter reading says. Dave, get a close-up of this, will you, buddy? My meter says, hey, Will, at ISO 400, you just measured an exposure of f4.5 at 125th of a second. Pretty cool, huh? Sure. You know what that means? That means I'm going to take my camera, which already has a Pocket Wizard on it that is set to channel 1, right? Remember, test, cake. I'm going to tell my camera to work at ISO 400, no problem. I'm going to be at 125th of a second at f4.5. Good to go, right? Watch this. Now, if I just stand where I want to be, And I get a nice focus. Thank you, my dear. Give me a little smile. Thank you. Look at that. Pretty neat, huh? Yeah. We may want a main plus a fill light. We may want a main light plus a background light. We may want a main light and a hair light or a side light or a kicker light or whatever you'd like to call it. So let's do that now, shall we? And let's work in TTL mode. First thing I want to do, right, we just took a pause for, what, 2.5 minutes? I want to make sure that this equipment's still working correctly, right? Batteries are turned on. Nobody's messed with anything. So before I actually get behind the shutter and take a picture of my model, or if my client was here, I want to make sure all my equipment works. You know what I'm going to do, don't you? I'm going to reach over here and I'm going to hit the test button. I'm going to direct my model's eyes more towards me because I don't want my subject to be looking in there when that goes off because they don't know why my hand's up there, right? I'm going to pop that and I'll see out of the corner of my eye that that works just fine. Now I'm going to add a second light. Ready? Guess what I got? I have another Nikon flash mounted onto another light stand with another Pocket Wizard Flex on there. And I'll bet you can guess how I'm going to set it. That's right, I'm going to turn it on. Yeah, I'm going to turn it on and I'm going to set it to channel 1. Why? Because 1 is really simple, right? Can't screw it up. Then I'm going to turn the flash on and I'm going to make myself a nice picture. You ready? So I've got my Flex turned on. I've got my flash turned on. I'm going to elevate my flash. So it's right about there. Going to bring it back a little bit more. And my flash is in TTL mode. What's my next step? That's right. I'm going to shield it from my subject. I'm going to tap that test button to make sure it works. And if you happen to see, it tests the other flash too. Isn't that fun? Yeah. When I hit the test button on either one of those flexes, it will send a signal over to the other one so that you don't have to worry about walking all the way over there to test it. Don't you love technology? And don't you hate it when you're doing a 2-light?